to Morning at NTV. My name is Idris Matusegawa and we are moving towards the top of the hour. As we run there, I want to tell you something. Africa is bursting with creativity and potential, especially in the media and the arts. The film industry in Uganda has emerged as a rapidly growing sector in the country's entertainment landscape. Not only is it entertaining audiences and telling compelling stories, but it is also providing potential solution to one of the world's most pressing issues, that is unemployment. Now in studio, I have a gentleman who is a usual suspect, that is Andrew Kaggwa, an arts journalist with Daily Monitor. We were supposed to have Nana Kagga, but unfortunately she has lost her jaja. Condolences to you, Nana, and we hope the Almighty is with you and comforts you and the whole family. I know it's tough time, tough, but you get through it. Well, Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Usual suspects?
Yes.
Okay, so we are running out of time. I know we are moving towards the hour. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
The film industry, what has it achieved this year? Where do you feel we are heading towards?
I think at the beginning of the year I had a lot of hope. And one, because I feel for the very first time, Ugandans are making films without using their own money. You see, world over, industries are built by people that are actually not using their own money. Like people invest in them and they make the films. So because there was multi-choice and then UCC giving filmmakers money, I thought we were moving to the right direction. But then unfortunately, when the films came out, I was thinking, okay, we are getting money, but the films are becoming bad. They are worse than the films we had when people did not have money. So I cannot say that we are moving to the right direction. I think we still have a problem with handling a lot of money. Is
there a need to review our journey towards that glorious Hollywood dream?
Yeah, I think one is to review, reskill, retrain, because let's face it, we usually complain about government and the way they give out tenders. Like they cannot give a small startup company, even when the brains behind it are actually good enough to handle the job. But you discover that most of the reasons they can't give a startup company is because they do not know if a new company can handle a 1 billion job if they've never handled one. So I think we need to reskill to get our filmmakers most of the times ready to actually handle big money, because before we give them big money. Yeah.
So do you think it's excitement, or is it really basically being naive on how to handle such big sums?
It's a series of things. One, there can be excitement.
I can tell you have a lot on your mind.
There can be excitement where you're like, geez, I have a lot of money.
Yeah, the temperature gets up.
Yeah, and you think this money is not going to get done. Yeah. So you end up doing a couple of things. You get married, you
buy a car,
and then you notice that the money is decreasing and you start working on the film. And then when you start working on the film, you notice that things are more expensive. And remember, whenever you get money, the word is out. When the word is out, the way people are dealing with you is not the way they were dealing with you when you did not have money. Like when you didn't have money, you could walk to Idris and you're like, yeah, can we write something? And Idris is like, yeah, let's work on something. And he actually does something for you pro bono. When the word is out that you actually got money, like Idris is speaking a different language, it's like $50 per page. And that's when things become tricky.
That's unfortunate though, because at the end of the day, you know, filmmakers will come out and say it takes a lot to make a movie. And we've seen independent filmmakers before making movies at a very small amount. And then here comes in, the government is giving these people money. Do you think these funders should do a little bit of more due diligence to find out who am I giving this money, and also to supervise how this money is being spent?
I think that would be very important. But okay, like one thing you need to appreciate is the funders are giving us money. Like I'm very grateful for that. But I think the issue is most of them are doing business, and then others, could I say they're ticking it off? Like, I don't really think UCC has a full day for film, or even a full year for film. If they have to monitor how this money is being used, are you hiring the right actors? Probably the people in that office do not even know who a right cinematographer is. Like, they've given you money, go and work. Like, I do not think they understand the business that deep to kind of follow it up to its detail. But it would be important if they actually got people to work with the people that are producing these films to follow those details, the nitty-gritties. Yeah. Because unless that money is followed up, there are chances we are going to have very expensive productions in Uganda by name, where someone is saying that film was worth 150, but you look at the film and you do not see the 150 in editing, you don't see it in cinematography, not in the writing, not in the talent, and you're thinking, okay, what happened? So I think they should actually get people to follow it up. Though at the moment in their structure, I know they do not have what it takes to follow it up, but that's something they should be thinking about.
From most of the things you're saying, I pick out the fact that there's lack of extensive know-how in the film industry. Do you think then we need to go back to the basics and actually provide more tutoring to filmmakers to know how the business is run?
I think we should be, all the money they're giving people should be used in, because I think the money should still exist. I'm always afraid of bringing a budget and then making it available, and then you take it away because the people are not ready, because you're not so sure if it will come back. But I think it should be used in a different way. What if we just collaborate? Why Ugandan directors say Loukman Ali is funded to collaborate with Tosh Gitonga, who is Kenyan. He has worked in this industry and has dealt with a lot of money for a very long time. And probably on that project you throw another director, say you're throwing Ronnie Kalubo on it. Like, at the end of it all, these three will learn things from each other. Because probably one of them knows something the other one can't do, and at the end of that film, they will all be better filmmakers. It will be a funded project, it will be a good project, but it will also be a learning process. So I think the money should still be there, but people need the training. But at the moment, since the money is already there, we cannot take it away and train them. So they have to train when the money is there. It's just that we need to bring more experienced people to train them on the job.
When you compare the film industry in Uganda to other industries like Bollywood, Hollywood, Nigeria wood, whatever it's called, we are pretty a young industry. Although some people might argue that we are not, but I believe we are pretty a really young industry.
Who determines young?
The years you've spent doing something. The years you've spent doing something. I don't believe that we are 50 years old.
We are not
producing film.
We're not, so, but Nollywood is about 30 or around there.
Well, I disagree actually, because I remember watching a lot of Yutna movies back then when I was really a kid. So I feel they're older than 30. But my question is, are we where we are supposed to be as an industry, or is it that there are certain people who expect too much, that because Hollywood is at this level, Nollywood is at this level, Bollywood is at this level, so we've started filming, we have access to cameras, so we should be at the same level?
Truth is, we shouldn't be at the same level, but the market today doesn't allow you to be at any lower level because they have a lot of access, which is the reason why most of the times I do not want people to want us to work the way the Nigerians worked to get where they were, because at the time the Nigerians were flooding their industry with a lot of films, it's what existed. Today, it might be a bit harder to flood the industry when people have access to a lot of pirated movies, they have access to streaming platforms, like they have a lot of access that even when you flood, it might not be seen. But on whether we are where we are supposed to be, I don't think we are where we are supposed to be. One, if you just look at the kind of films Ugandans were producing in 2006, because that's the time I think Chiwani the film came out, that's the time Yogeda came out. When you look at the kind of those films, we were really way ahead of our time.
What happened?
So, what happened, I think at that time people did not, like, you know, there comes a time when people start asking you, what do you do for a living? And I don't think film at that time was really viable. So people branched off into making documentary films. Some left the country. Some joined, like, employment 8 to 5. And the industry kind of took a slump. But if you're to look at the stories we were doing at that time, the stories when Mariam did Down This Road I Walk, I feel like those are better movies than the films she's making right now. So I don't think we're where we're supposed to be.
Wow, that's a strong that's a strong sentiment. And basically, you've mentioned that people branched off from being filmmakers to being employed in an 8 to 5. Do you think that is driven by the fact that there is little return on investment when you decide to make a movie in Uganda?
Truth is, yes. One, it's not just Uganda. It's in Africa. There is little return on investment because filmmaking and its model, everything we are doing around filmmaking is something we learned from the West. So we learned how they showcase their films in cinema. And when you think about it, Uganda, like there was a time we had only one cinema. Okay, like at the moment you can talk about having one cinema company that has multiple cinemas, but there was a time we had only one cinema. And when you think about that time, it's not 20 years ago, like it's just a few years back, like we had just one cinema. So you either had that or you didn't have. At the moment we have like one cinema company and then other few cinemas scattered around. That model at the moment does not work for us as Ugandans, not even just as Ugandans, as Africans. At the moment it's only working for Nigerians because they hyper-produced, and then the producers of that time became distributors, and then some opened cinemas. So they have a lot of cinemas scattered around Nigeria that it's easy for someone to release a film and it will find a place to be showcased at. In Uganda at the moment, when you release a film and you spent about 150 million on it, you have only one company that's going to showcase it. The other place is Entebbe, where you're not so sure if the Hollywood films are even working, so you're not sure if a Ugandan film will work. The other place is Mbarara, where we do not know the data that comes out of there, whether people are even watching the films that are there at the moment.
How about the Uganda?
I think it would be a very good model, but I feel like most of them started showing football instead of films. but I think it could be a good model. They are more accessible. They're in the people. Like all countries where cinema is working, cinema is not fancy as we look at it. Sometimes it's in the deeper places that people can access.
Well, as we conclude this conversation, because we have really run out of time, I go back to my first question. Do you think the film industry has achieved anything this year?
This year, I think the film industry, the best year for the film industry, the best years I could say, was 2021, circa 2022. There was a lot of interest in the industry, be it on YouTube, be it on TV, beat in the cinema.
Yeah.
2022, I think, was the first time a Ugandan film stayed in cinema for 7 days. Oh no, there was 27 Guns before that. But then Kafako came, stayed in, and then 2021, Girl in the Yellow Jumper gets on Netflix. Still 2021, there was a lot of interest coming in from Ugandans because of Loukman's 2 short films. That's Blind Date and 16 Rounds. And then Swangs Avenue also did a Rolex film at that time. So those years, there was a lot of interest. This year, I do not really think people have been excited about Ugandan films as much as they were then. Yeah, maybe there was a good film I liked.
Which one?
Which title I can't remember, but it was an action film. It was a short on YouTube. But there's not been a lot of interest.
So how do we move forward?
How we move forward, I think people should remember why they joined the industry.
You think they have forgotten?
I think they have forgotten why they joined the industry. I think most of them have forgotten, not all of them. Like, I want to avoid generalizing. I think most of them have forgotten why they joined the industry. Because one thing you should be asking yourself is why it used to work at 15 million and then it cannot work at 100 million. Like, why?
A lot of review.
Someone forgot something.
Wow, that needs to be done. Well, if you have just joined us, sadly we have come to the end of Morning at NTV. Andrew, thank you so much for being here today. I know it's tough, but you have made it. Well, if you want to be part of the conversation, go to our social media platforms. That is on Twitter, which is now X. Look out for Facebook, YouTube. Just type in Morning at NTV. That's the hashtag. Or look out for NTV Uganda. You can look out for myself, Idris Matusegawa, or Andrew Kaggwa at Twitter. He's very active there. Join the conversation. Tell us, what do you feel about films and movies, Ugandan movies, and where do you think we are heading as a film industry? Well, catch you next week, but right about now we are heading into Mwasuzemtia with the lovely Mrs. Ruth Kalibala. Good morning and bye-bye.